Hi, this is Brijesh Dalmia from Masterstroke. Today is Friday, 24th of March 2023, 6 p.m. And thank you so much for joining in all across the country, MFDs. And thank you so much, Gajendra, for joining in. How are you?
Hey, Brijesh. Good evening. Good evening to all Masterstroke folks, members joining us from across the country. Thank you so much for taking out your time on a busy day. I believe,
Yes.
the googly that has been thrown to our industry, so I'm sure all of you must be busy, but still you have got time to, kind of come and attend this session. I'm sure we'll try our best to make it worthwhile your, time that you give it to us.
I'm very sure. And for the record purpose, because this video will go on YouTube, today is the day when the government has announced that long-term capital gains will go away from debt mutual fund. And the entire industry, MFDs, AMCs, everybody is very, very upset. Are not so good news. And किसी को पता नहीं है इसका क्या impact आएगा आने वाले समय के अंदर में. Positive news नहीं है ये. कितना नेगेटिव होगा ये देखना है, बट दुनिया चलेगी, आगे चलेगी. और गजन से भी लास्ट में अगर समय मिलेगा तो हम लोग इसके बारे में बात करेंगे. बट फर्स्ट थिंग्स फर्स्ट, we are doing a very important session today, and thank you so much Axis Mutual Fund to bring this event along with Masterstroke, where we have brought in Gajendra Kothari, who is one of the best, finest, biggest, humblest, and my best friend over and above, to be here and accepted our invite to do this session for us. How to do powerful investor meets, how to do effective, powerful investor meet, both on a group level as well as on a one-to-one basis with the prospective customers or existing clients. And before I give it all to Gajendra for the next 40-45 minutes to take you through this journey, I would like to speak a few words about Gajendra in terms of his profile, those who may not be aware. Who is Gajendra Kothari? Gajendra Kothari is the MD and CEO of Etica Wealth Private Limited. He's popularly known as One Idiot. And if you want to know more, you can ask this question to Gajendra later on. Please put your questions into the Q&A box. In the mutual fund industry fraternity, he is known as One Idiot. Currently, Etica Wealth manages around 1,500 plus crores of assets in mutual funds and PMS. They have an outstanding 6 crores SIP book supported by 30 members team across Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, and Assam. Mr. Kothari is a traveler and adventure enthusiast. He loves to try out new things and enjoy experiences. He enjoys watching theaters, live plays, and stand-up comedy. So friends, if you think that by working 16 hours a day is the only solution to build a mutual fund industry, AUM, no, it is not. Gajendra Kothari is in the top 10 in the country, and still he finds time to watch, live shows, and he enjoys to the fullest. He's a big advocate of using technology in all spheres of life and loves fiddling with tech. Mr. Kothari's passion is to create financial awareness and empowerment against the youth of India through his own unique story of becoming One Idiot. He has so far empowered more than 50,000 participants in the last 15 years through his investor awareness programs. No one other than Gajendra is the best person to tell you how to do effective investor meets. Mr. Kothari has also conducted more than 75 sessions for mutual fund distributors across the country, guiding them on practice management and importance of technology for advisors. So with this background, I give you all Gajendra Kothari.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Brijesh Bhai. Friends, I would like to place this on record. A lot of this, credit goes to Brijesh Bhai for motivating me. He's been my mentor, for last 10 years or so. I remember visiting his office in 2014 in Kolkata. I always look up to him because I always believe he's one of the finest individual the industry has, because the way he does this whole job so selflessly, is what, makes us do more for him. So anytime when Brijesh asks me to do a session, I have no choice but to accept, this invitation. And Brijesh हमेशा कहता है, गजेंद्र हम लोग खुद के लिए तो बहुत कुछ कर लेते हैं और हमने किया है. Now, if we are so privileged, it's our duty to give back to society. This one word of his always, kind of keep ringing in my mind. And whatever I do, I mean, has this element now that I have to give back to the fraternity from which I've got a lot of good stuff, So we are all very fortunate to be part of this industry, friends. Googlies like these today will keep coming and going, right? But a good mutual fund distributor, a very passionate distributor, will keep rising with these challenges. Actually, you will only go to the next level from here. I can tell you the challenges will make us stronger. So with this, and I'm thankful to Brijesh for inviting me to do this session, because this is my favorite topic, how to do a powerful investor awareness programs, because that is how we have got 90% of our clients in the last 10-15 years, right? Doing IIPs is my passion. More than business, I love kind of, spreading financial literacy to investors. And मैं हमेशा सोचता हूँ कि भगवान ने हमको एक बहुत अच्छा ये एक प्लेटफॉर्म दिया है जहाँ पे we can do education, because financial literacy is something which is not taught at many places like schools, colleges, workplaces. People learn it hard way. लोग गलतियां करके सीखते हैं. So if we can educate them, and I remember very well when I was 24, 25, there was no one to guide me. I end up making a lot of mistakes. So the idea is, if we can help our investors not to do these mistakes, I think we have done a fair kind of a job in our work. So without further ado, I would like to start this session. So I'm just sharing my screen. I hope you are all able to see the screen. So first of all, again, I would like to thank Masterstroke and Axis Mutual Fund for giving me this platform to do this session for all of you. I hope you will have some takeaways from this. I'll try to be as candid as possible, and I would request all of you to ask a lot of questions, so that in next 1 hour, when we go back, we are far more educated. We can take away some amazing lessons back home. Okay, so as I told you, this is more of a passion to me to do IIPs. I would have done more than 500 IIPs in the last 15 years. रात को कई बार 1 बजे भी IIP किया है हमने 5 लोगों के लिए, हमने 1000 लोगों के लिए भी IIPs किया है. So आप मुझे 12 बजे भी उठाओगे तो I'm always willing to do an IIP, because this is from the heart. I always consider myself that I'm not a very good speaker on stage. मुझे भी बहुत डर लगता है स्टेज पे जाने में. But when it comes to IIPs, जब टॉपिक IIPs का हो, तब फिर आप मुझे कहीं भी खड़ा कर दो, and I can go on for an hours and hours, right? Because that is what you love doing. So जो मैंने 10-15 साल में किया है, उसके मैं कुछ मूल मंत्र आपके साथ शेयर करना चाहता हूँ. So some of the lessons that if you want to do powerful investor meets, आपको क्या बातों का ध्यान रखना चाहिए, right? Dress well and be formal, ये तो बताने की जरूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि because that is your day. 200 people are listening to you, they have come to see you, so you want to be at your best, right? And nowadays, with many of these things being recorded on YouTube, you never know when it becomes viral. So if you are at your best, this becomes a good legacy. Second is talk in their language. This is again bigger thing. If you're addressing to doctors, try to find a lot about doctors fraternity. Okay, कि वो लोग क्या करते हैं, how is their typical day, how they have to struggle and stuff like that. If you talk in their language, in their community language, then they'll be able to connect to it. If you're talking to business owners, again, talk in their language. If you're talking to a section of people where you have to use local language like Marathi or Kannada or any other language, Hindi में बात करनी है तो हिंदी में करो. So you find out what maximum people like it, and then talk in their language, because they feel far more comfortable when you're talking to them. Use innovative concepts in your customer meets, which I'll tell you what I do and how I do. Okay, use quotations, funny one-liners. अच्छे quotations जो होते हैं, अगर if we use it, and funny one-liners, then people are able to remember this long after they have met you, right? And I also believe in making a little controversial. When I say controversial, I mean when somebody has come to hear you, 1 घंटा 2 घंटा सुनने के बाद उनको लगे कि यार nobody has ever told me these things, right? They should be completely kind of empowered after listening to you, right? Ki, wow, what a wonderful talk that person gave, and I'm fully convinced now. And you don't have to be answering everything in the yes format. You have to say no to few things. You have to talk your heart out, okay? और आप जब खुले दिल से बोलोगे, then people are able to see it, right? And I'll tell you how I make it more interesting in my way. Use a lot of images and videos. ये भी आपको बताने की जरूरत नहीं है, because we don't want to have very busy slides in our presentation. A picture is worth 1,000 words. तो जितने ज़्यादा pictures और videos use करोगे, it becomes very powerful. The best thing I always tell is use your own examples. right? Because nothing bigger than your own self. You are the producer, director, actor of that movie, of that IIP. Okay, you're the composer. So use your story, because वो story एकदम real होती है, and that is why it becomes very powerful. Feedback form is a must. So जब हम लोग sessions लेते हैं, we always take feedbacks from participants. 99% of the time, the feedback has been very overwhelming. You know, people have said कि आज तक हमने कभी ऐसा सुना नहीं है. This 2 hours change our lives. You know, they give you some very good feedback also, what to cover, what not to cover next time. So it's a good sounding board. Finally, I would like to tell you this: कि don't try to market any company's product in those IPs, including yourself. जब जब मेरे IPs करता हूँ, I don't talk about any company's product specifically, okay, and including our own. We don't market at all our company. We don't tell customers कि आपको हमारे पास आना है. Only if somebody asks, then we say them, okay, you can contact us. Otherwise, we don't try to reach out to them. ये करने से क्या होता है? People feel कि यार this guy has come, spoke for 2 hours, and he didn't even, you know, talk about himself or his company at all. बहुत कम जगह ऐसा सुनने मिलेगा. Usually, many companies when they do presentations, 99% we have seen the idea is to sell something, and the company would specifically like to talk about their product, why their product is superior, why they are superior to others, and it becomes a marketing spiel. We are not here for marketing. See, people think this is a push business. I always think this is a pull business. If you do a very good job, आप अगर बहुत अच्छा काम करते हो, तो people will always come to you. And I have seen in RIPs, people have come after 1 day, people have come after 1 year, people have come after 5 years also to us. Okay, 5 साल बाद आके बोलते हैं सर आपका IIP सुना था 5 साल पहले, उस वक्त मैं नहीं कर पाया, but अभी मुझे आके करना है, can you help us? So, you know, we have seen such examples also. Now, no one ever made a decision because of a number. They need a story. Okay, in IIPs, the biggest element you can make it successful is that you have to have a story, a genuine story, a true story, and a believable story, right? अगर आप numbers की बातें करोगे, म्यूचुअल फंड्स ऐसा करते हैं, वैसा करते हैं, इतना रिजल्ट दिया है, nobody is able to connect because किसी ने बनाया नहीं है, right? But अगर आप अच्छी true story बताते हो, then people are able to connect to it, right? So आपकी खुद की story होनी चाहिए. You can't tell my story, right? Because आप मेरी story के बारे में बात करोगे तो it won't help. It has to be your own story. So these are the slides which I use in my presentation when I do, you know, I mean, जब मैं start करता हूँ तो मैं I tell we waste years because we cannot waste hours. And I like to thank those people who come to these IITs. Sir, आपने 2 घंटा time निकाला है, okay, to attend this. And I'm sure by investing this time, you will not be wasting years. And there are many others who thought कि Friday evening है, मैं movie देखने जाता हूँ, I'll go something here. ये presentation, you know, it's the regular old stuff. I will not learn anything new. So we end up wasting years because we don't want to waste hours. Okay, so this is a very, very powerful message which I kind of bring in out my IIPs. This is, I told you how I make it little controversial also. मैं अपनी industry के बारे में बात कर रहा हूँ कि how our industry sometimes do disservice to investors. Parag Parikh used to say investing is simple, but the industry has woven a web of complexity to confuse the investor. Investing बहुत simple है, but हम लोग खुद, हमारी industry खुद इतना कॉम्प्लिकेशन कर देती है, और फाइनली इन्वेस्टर को लगता है कि यार ये मेरे समझ के बाहर है, एंड ही गो एंड डज फिक्स्ड डिपॉजिट्स और बाय गोल्ड और रियल एस्टेट बिकॉज़ ही फाइंड दैट सिंपल. सो द डे वी मेक दिस, द होल आइडिया ऑफ दिस IIPs इज टू मेक इट वेरी सिंपल. एंड डोंट थिंक फॉर अ मोमेंट कि अगर आप उसको सिंपल करोगे तो क्लाइंट्स आपके पास नहीं आएंगे. इनफैक्ट द वर्ल्ड गोज टू दोज पीपल हु एक्चुअली डज इट वेरी सिंपल. ओके, क्योंकि दुनिया में कॉम्प्लेक्स करने वाले तो बहुत लोग बैठे हैं, सिंप्लिसिटी करने वाले बहुत कम हैं, और इसीलिए लॉन्ग टर्म में people will be able to come and relate to you, right? Again, in my sessions, I try and tell this that either you will understand this entire IIP in 5 minutes, or you will not be able to understand for lifetime, right? अगर आप simplicity की तरफ से देखोगे तो this is so easy. The game of investing is so simple that you can understand in 5 minutes. There is no rocket science in it. But most of us try to think, अरे how can it be so simple? इतना easy होता तो मैं कोई भी कर लेता, right? And that is why I also in the same sentence says that you know, most people are not able to understand for lifetime, right? So again, this wakes them up कि यार ये क्या बात बोल रहा है, right? Again, you know, in many IIPs when people come, people think कि यार ये क्या नई बातें बताएगा आपको. We all know about mutual funds, we all know about कैसे होता है, क्या होता है. And that is where my biggest learning has been, that for us, the greatest enemy of knowledge is not ignorance. It is the illusion of knowledge. Most of our clients think they know everything about investing, and that's why what's new in this. And because they already have a baggage, they don't hear it with an open frame of mind. I tell in my investor seminar that come with an open frame of mind, ask me thousands of questions. Tell me if you don't agree with something, okay? Let's discuss. But if you're not open to learn something new, right, then nobody can teach you, right? So even after 19 years of being in this industry, when I try and attend any session, whether it is masterstroke session, I always try to be as ignorant as possible, learning from day one mindset ki I don't know, let me understand, right? And then new things, new avenues open to you, right? Because you're not clouded by your own thoughts. Now, some of the slides that I use in my talks are this. This is one of my biggest and most powerful slide that I use in all my presentations, the pleasure of walking tall. I'm not sure how many of you have seen this advertisement, which came 50 years ago in United States, but I read this advertisement in the public, in my IIPs, and it makes such a powerful case. Okay, and I'm going to read few lines here just to tell you how powerful it sounds. It says the pleasure of walking tall. Your savings, believe it or not, affect the way you stand, the way you walk, the tone of your voice. In short, your physical well-being and self-confidence. A man without savings is always running. He must take the first job offered, or nearly so. He sits nervously on life's chairs because any small emergency throws him into the hands of others. Without savings, a man must be too grateful. Gratitude is a fine thing in its place, but a constant state of gratitude is a horrible place in which to live, right? So when you use these powerful words, most people will sit and listen, okay? क्योंकि ये सब उनको किसी ने नहीं बताया है. And finally, last paragraph, if you don't need money for college, a home or retirement, then save for self-confidence. The state of your savings does have a lot to do with how tall you walk. Now, again, look at the confidence in my voice when I talk about these things. जब मैं ये बातें करता हूँ, एकदम powerful voice में, people sit and listen, and it gets imprinted in their memory. So use these kind of powerful slides in your presentation. The other thing which I told you about is it's all about this story. In every seminar that I have done, I have used my story of Rolls-Royce. I've been deeply influenced by this One Idiot movie, and I made this mission of my life, as most of you would know, right? And I have openly told the world that I wish to own my Rolls-Royce car before I turn 50. The whole idea of doing this is to tell the world that through SIPs, if you can buy as luxurious item as Rolls-Royce, then you can buy anything in the world, right? So when you tell these things in an IIP, people are able to connect to, because आपने कुछ नई चीज बताई है, आपने something बहुत अलग बताया. और मेरे को याद है दोस्तों, I was doing this seminar in Bombay in Ambassador Hotel in Churchgate 5 years back. There were these two other people. One was from AMC and one was from a journalism background. He came. We all were given 30 minutes. First, जो दो speakers थे from the AMC and this thing, they all talk about general stuff, why mutual funds and stuff like that. It was kind of boring because it's a standard template they all use, and people were getting bored. जब मेरे पास time आया, and when I started talking about, I started giving this example of Rolls-Royce and other thing, people eyes just popped out, okay? And I remember there was one person sitting in that conference, that seminar. He got these invitations from some of his friends. He just walked in. और जब वो seminar खत्म हुआ, he came to me with his visiting card and says, Gajendra, I've attended a lot of these sessions, but किसी ने आज तक Rolls-Royce के बारे में नहीं बताया कि इतना बड़ा गोल भी हो सकता है क्या? You know, can you do an SIP for such goal? I'm very impressed by your talk, and this is my card. I would like to contact you after a few days. And he did contact me. And after 5 years, guys, today this client is worth 25 CR in our system. 25 crore ka hai. The only thing which influenced him in this whole story was this Rolls-Royce. And he himself is a very rich guy with 100 crores of assets. But किसी ने आज तक उसको ये सपना ही नहीं दिखाया था कि आप Rolls-Royce भी खरीद सकते हो. And because he come from a smaller town, वहाँ के IFA कभी वो ऐसा बात ही नहीं किए. And that is how he got talking to us, and now he has become one of the biggest client. So you never know how a story can inspire many others, right? So again, this is something very unique I did. I told you that, you know, try to do something unique in your sessions. In one of the sessions in Ahmedabad for AMG, I think, luckily I got a Rolls-Royce model car, you know, and luckily वो एक हफ्ते पहले ही आया था. I got it from UK from the Rolls-Royce showroom, and वो गाड़ी मैं अपने साथ लेके आया था, and I showed this model car to the audience there. Imagine अगर आप गाड़ी का मॉडल दिखाते हो पब्लिक को in an IAP, उससे ज्यादा क्या वैलिडेशन होता है, राइट? पीपल जस्ट लव दिस न्यू स्टफ, एंड जाने के बाद वो हमेशा याद करेंगे कि उस सेशन में दे कुड सी Rolls-Royce car. So every time in Bombay, if I try to do a session and if it is large gathering, I try to bring this car with me so that I can show them, you know, seeing is believing. जब लोग देखते हैं तब लोग इंस्पायर होते हैं, right? So this is how I try to do innovative stuff. This was my goal, which I tell people कि how I want to achieve Rolls-Royce का goal. ये मैं दिखाता हूँ. This is the current price of Rolls-Royce in India, 11 crore rupees. 5 साल में जब मैं लेने जाऊंगा तब the cost would become around 16 crores. And 16 crores करने के लिए मुझे 2 लाख रुपए का महीने का SIP करना है, that I started 10 years back. And hopefully next 3-4 years, the idea is to buy a Rolls-Royce car. And I've been telling this story for the last 10 years to people, right? So people are aware about this story. Imagine the day you get this car, then the whole world will make your story very powerful and viral कि यार इसने करके दिखाया है. You know, उसने ये बात बोली जब उसके पास कुछ भी नहीं था, and he did save every month religiously for the last 10-15 years, and today he has Rolls-Royce car. So this is how you have to inspire people. And again, when I have to show the power of compounding to people, again, use these kind of graphs where it shows कि अगर if you do a 50,000 SIP, it takes almost 10 years to reach your first 1 crore. Then it takes half of the time, approximately 4 years, to reach another 2 crore. But how much time it takes to reach the last 1 crore, from 9 crore to 10 crore? Last ka 1 crore, it takes only 10 months, right? This is the game that we all have to play. To reach first 1 crore, it takes 10 years. And to reach the last 1 crore, it takes only 10 months, right? So when you show this example in such an easy format, anybody sitting in the audience, even if she's a 90-year-old, you know, your grandmother also, she'll be able to understand. If your 10-year-old son or daughter is there in that audience, he or she'll be able to understand the power of compounding, right? You don't have to use a lot of numbers there, but just these simple graphs will tell you. Again, I try to show this example of the power of compounding, a real life example. Ramdev Agrawal, he's my guru, he's my Warren Buffett in India. कि इनकी लाइफ से कैसे इंस्पायर होके मैंने अपना 188 गोल किया. And look at his fabulous story from 1 to 2,000 crores. Again, how I try to use this, very simple. There were 4 instances in his life when his net worth came down by 50, 60, 70%. First, in Harshal Mehta scam, 30 ka 10 crore hua. Then 100 became 13, Ketan Parekh .com bubble. Then 500 became 225 in .com in global financial crisis. And finally, 1850 became 1150 in the COVID period. But again, the best way to show the example of compounding, when was this presentation given? 2016, reaching 1,000 crores. And in less than 5 years, 1,000 crores became 2,000 crores. Imagine whatever he earned in the last 30 years, he earned the same amount in the next 5 years. This is the way you show power of compounding example. And this is a living example which you show to your customers, right? And इससे बड़ा story कोई हो ही नहीं सकता, because this is somebody who has done it, right? It took Apple 40 years to reach market value of $1 trillion and just 3 more years to reach another $1 trillion. Again, a great example of power of compounding, right? So again, in my IPs, I always try to show simple ideas, and I tell people, take a simple idea, but take it very, very seriously, right? That's how you create humongous wealth. So my one idea, as Brijesh mentioned, is to become one idiot. And this is my life story, creating idiots one at a time. This is what I tell my clients. This is what I love doing it. This is my visiting card. Again, a simple, no flashy thing. You know, no degrees, no products, nothing. Just talk about this concept, right? अगर आप ये unique चीजें करते हो, when you give this to your clients, they will always remember this thing that, you know, there was this one idiot whom I met, and he wanted to do 100 crores. And that's how you know, your marketing automatically happens. So this was my story. This is what I tell in my IPs, that एक दिन मेरा सपना है to go to Amol Gupte and tell him, sir, you have made real idiot, and this is a real idiot who has come and did it, right? So again, when you show these kind of things in your PPTs, in your IIPs, in your customer meets, see, nowhere I'm trying to sell mutual funds, nowhere I'm trying to sell SIPs. I'm just trying to sell a vision. I'm trying to sell the concept of financial freedom. I'm trying to sell that how you can become, the richest 1% in the world by just following simple steps, right? And why stories? Because Shane Parrish says the most powerful story in the world is the one you tell yourself. राइट आप दुनिया को तो कुछ भी स्टोरी बोल के बेच सकते हो, बट अगर आपको आपकी लाइफ में इफ यू हैव टू मेक अ वेरी काइंड ऑफ phenomenal change, you have to tell yourself the story which you believe in, right? Every day in and day out. That is how it becomes powerful. So this is how again I show my journey of one idiot. I'm sure all of you are aware about this journey. I won't take time, but ये मैं पिछले 10 साल से हर क्लाइंट मीटिंग में यही चीज मैं सारे क्लाइंट्स को दिखाता हूँ कि दिस हैज बीन माय जर्नी. बट मेरे पास 4 लाख रुपए नहीं थे on day one to do SIP. I started with a very modest SIP of 10,000 in 2010, and the only good thing which I did was that keep on increasing this SIP. And today I'm proud to share that my family's SIPs are now 18 lakhs a month that I do. Okay, and this is my target for the next 5 years. By 27, in next 4 years, the idea is to do 40 lakh. Again, one idea, good idea, what I like about doing this, if you have openly announced it to people, you have no choice but to do it. आपको करना ही पड़ेगा, आपने ऑलरेडी बोल दिया है. और एक बात बताऊं दोस्तों, this is the most powerful thing. ये जो wealth आज तक बनी है ना, it has not become because of my intelligence, it has not become because of my knowledge. This has only become because of my discipline and my patience. Okay, whatever level I've come to this part, and I believe that is how, by announcing to the world, it the whole responsibility comes onto you कि आपको करके दिखाना है, because you cannot go back on this. So when I show this inspires a lot of young people. Immediately they increase their SIPs. They say यार मुझे भी करना है, all of this. Again, I in any client meetings which I do, I always tell people आपको ज्ञान देने के लिए बहुत लोग आएंगे. They will tell about a lot of good things, but don't believe anyone. Okay, as Nassim Nicholas says, don't ask anyone for their opinion, forecast, or recommendation. Just ask them what they have or don't have in their portfolio. All right? Why do we all trust Warren Buffett? Why do we all trust Ramdev Agrawal? Because उन्होंने करके दिखाया है. They only don't do ज्ञान, but उन्होंने वही चीज अपने लाइफ में प्रैक्टिस की है. And that's how people believe them. Same, if the client has to believe you, you have to do less of marketing but more of what you have done for yourself, good, bad, ugly, whatever it is. Show it to the people, right? कि मैंने ये किया है, and this is where I have made mistakes and stuff. So this is one slide which I always show. I'm sure most of you are aware कि I don't have any of these things. Again, this becomes a very, very powerful slide कि मेरे पास कुछ भी नहीं है. I don't do LICs, PPEF, house भी नहीं है, गाड़ी भी नहीं है, gold भी नहीं है, because I believe in this product. And when you talk with such intensity, it shows. Then people know that this guy is not doing marketing, he's believing in this, right? And I've always, as I showed, one thing which I can tell you, the most important thing which after 10 years also my clients remember from my sessions, and they meet me after the session, is how much is your daughter's current investment? My daughter was born on 24 December 2010. Immediately I started a name, SIP in her name, Aditi Kothari, for 10,000. Again, I give this story कि एक महीने बाद उसका naming ceremony था. She got 50,000, 70,000 as gifts. I thought this was her money, ये उसका पैसा है. Let me not touch this money. और मैंने ये उसके नाम पे invest कर दिया, right? और मैं ये करते गया. 21st October 2014 was Diwali, Dhanteras. It's a very auspicious occasion. People buy gold, people buy silver, but I thought the day is good. तो मैंने 21,000 रुपए थे उसके नाम पे मैंने टॉप अप कर दिया. Then 24 December 2014 was a birthday. Again, it was a big day for her. I thought, let me gift her 11,000 on that day. And I've been doing this. And today, friends, what is the result? 16.95 lakh is what I've invested. And, the value is around 50 lakh, 67,000. Now, when people see this, कि 50 lakh रुपए हो गए हैं, and my daughter has turned 12, just turned 12, and I put around 17 lakhs, this becomes very, very powerful. This becomes very, very powerful. उसके बाद आपको कुछ बोलने की जरूरत नहीं होती है. Okay? And after 5-10 years, the thing that they remember from IIPs is not कि क्या, बाकी आपने क्या बोला. They only remember a couple of things. When is your RollsRoyce coming? And what is the current value of your daughter's investments? ये बात उनको हमेशा, because all the clients who are there, all the people, they also have children, right? And they could relate to it कि this 10,000 SIP, I could have also done it, but why did nobody tell me करने के लिए? And even my children would have got 50 lakhs, 1 crore, 2 crore in 15, 20, 25 years, right? And then this is what my daughter can expect on her 25th birthday, assuming 15% return. I tell them that there's no guarantee to it, but this is what I expect. Of course, so far, my return has been around 19% for the last 12 years, but maybe at 15%, this might become 3.5 crores. So when you show these things, friends, immediately after that IIP, many people will come and want to say, why don't you start something for my daughter, for my son, or I also want to buy this. Again, you remember I told you that why I like to make it a little controversial, so that people sit back and listen. Again, I have always believed that in the long term, equities beat debt hands down, right? I have been a big proponent. I am not a big believer of long-term debt investments. Okay, I always believe debt is for short term. 6 महीना, 1 साल, 2 साल, 3 साल, 4 साल का पैसा है. Why don't you should put money in debt, because you have your goals coming and you don't want to take chances. But if you do long-term investing in equity versus debt, and this is an example of PPF I give, in India, 80-90% of the people, in India do PPF blindly, thinking this is the best investment under Section 80C. I beg to disagree, and I tell this openly to my participants. I tell them this is my view. Okay, they don't have to take this. This is my belief. But अगर आपने 1 लाख रुपए, suppose XYZ tax saving fund में डाला होता, today this 26 lakhs in PPF has become around 92 lakhs, and I'm sure you are happy with it. But look at the cost of your ignorance. अगर आप ये last 26 years में any tax saving fund, if you would have done the investment, today the value is around 8.5 crores, almost 9-10 times higher than what PPF gives, right? So when I show this, बहुत लोग कुर्सी से हिल जाते हैं, and many people come to me, why on earth people never told them about these things. And we have seen many times after listening to this, people say, okay, next year का जो मैं पैसा PPF में डालने वाला था, I will not put in PPF, I'll try ELSS. And this is how a lot of inquiries come for ELSS. And after 4-5 years, when they see the results themselves, then they actually, if their PPF comes for withdrawal or maturity, they actually take out the money and invest into any equity fund they like. That is how you transform them. That is how you make changes in their lives, right? So this is how, and this is another example I give. So you can see here, and again, look at the way I try to present. One second, I try to tell them कि आपने आज तक जितना भी PPF में पासबुक में डाला है, okay, for last 25, 30, 40 years, I can bet you that your PPF passbook will not be 2 crores. You see most of the passbook of 25, 30 years, the value might be 60 lakhs, 70 lakhs, 80 lakhs, if they have been religiously putting. But किसी का पासबुक में आज का वैल्यू 2 करोड़ नहीं होगा. और यहाँ पे आपने किसी भी एक टैक्स सेविंग फंड में 25 साल पहले जो डाला था 1 लाख रुपए सिंगल चेक, उसके बाद आपने कभी डाला भी नहीं है, that 1 lakh itself has become almost 2 crores. I mean, इससे बड़ा एग्जांपल आप क्या दे सकते हो, right? If we are not able to convince this to our clients, then I think we are not doing a great job at all, right? This is the power of a long-term wealth creation, and this is what I like to show to my investors. So what are the strategies, some strategies that you have to master, and you have to be a master storyteller. Friends, if you're not a good storyteller, in the long term, it will be very difficult to build a very sizable business, right? Because complexity number se aap zyada, you can't reach scale. So the few things which you have to tell in your stories, that you have to be vulnerable. You can't only be talking about good things that has happened with you, because in our journey in the last 15 years, a lot of not so good things have happened, right? Our portfolios have come down heavily. You have to show this to the investors कि पैसा खाली ऊपर नहीं जाता, पैसा नीचे भी जाता है. But if you can stay calm, if you can be there, you will make a lot of money, over a period of time. Share real experience. So in my IPs, I talk about all my experiences, my term insurance experience, my health insurance experience, my SIPs, everything. So क्या होता है, people are able to relate, because everything that you're sharing is all real and it's all genuine. Create a compelling narrative. Okay, again, my narrative is one idiot. It's a very big narrative to create 100 crores from your mutual fund investments, from SIP, from long-term investments. This is a very compelling narrative. Okay, share what is unique about your brand, right? You want to tell people ki, if people ask you how you're different, then you can say ki the way I'm different is that I show my portfolio to my investors. How many wealth advisors, how many banks, relationship managers, would do this, right? That is how you become very unique. And you're opening all your cards. In fact, in my IIPs, guys, I also tell them how much commissions I make in mutual funds. I openly tell them ki, sir, on an average in equity, I make 1%. Okay. And how in the long term, I'm going to create a lot of money. But that really actually, bring in a lot of faith in you, because you are the guy who have opened all your cards to all the public, and there is nothing more to ask. Uske baad wo log kya puchenge? Educate and inform your customers through story, which is what I've always, any example which I like to give, I always try to relate to a story. Okay. Then engage all senses in your storytelling. आप अपने ना, you should try and use your good powerful words, hand movements, emotions, सब कुछ लेके आ जाओ. और जब आप ये करोगे ना, तो 2 घंटा 3 घंटा का IIP भी उसको पता नहीं चलेगा. I've seen people in my seminars for 3 hours have not even seen their mobile phones. They have not taken a loo break also, because you have kept them on hooks. कि यार ये next slide क्या आएगी, next बात क्या बताएगी, right? And finally, it has to be a conversation. So after my session, we have an open Q&A, and that can go for 1 hour, 2 hour itself, because a lot of people have amazing questions. And again, you can come back to your slides and show this. So if you have to master this story selling for your customer meets, there's this amazing book, which I would strongly recommend you to read, Story Selling for Financial Advisors. There are a lot of good examples you can use from these stories. And again, try and use a lot of your client stories. You meet a lot of clients every day. Try to use those stories to inspire others. If I have to talk about risk management to my client, what best example can you show apart from this, right? Ki, how can you stop your clients from driving beyond 80-90 kilometers? Ek chota sa photograph aap laga do. Every parent will be thinking 100 times to be overspeeding, when they see this, right? 100 बार सोचेंगे. इससे बढ़िया risk management आप बता नहीं सकते हो, right? So this is how you have to tell people. Then it's not just about wealth creation. We tell in IIPs that this money has to be spent. खाली paper पे CAGR दिखाना हमारा काम नहीं है. We have to make our clients spend this money. And that's why I tell people the best things in life are not things. I tell people कि, if you have to take, you should take 2 vacations here. अगर आपकी SIP नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, कोई बात नहीं. घर खरीदना हम 2 साल बाद करेंगे, but don't compromise your vacations. Do it this year, because ये जो time चला गया, it will not come back, right? So I show this again, my real example. Brijesh told in his intro thing that I'm a very adventure enthusiast. This was in my last trip to Dubai. I waited for 3 hours to get to this experience, right? और ये जब मैं दिखाता हूँ, तो आपको पता नहीं चलता कि कौन लोग आपसे इंस्पायर हो रहे हैं. You never know. And look at this. 1 साल पहले मैंने ये दिखाया था. One of other IFA, one of my very good friend, he somehow ये उसने देखा था, ये उसके दिमाग में बैठ गया था. अभी 10 दिन पहले he was in Dubai, did this, and he called me from there. Unfortunately, I was in a conference, I couldn't pick up his call, so he messaged me, remembering you big time today, did the skydiving at Dubai, keep rocking, keep inspiring, stay blessed by, you were the inspiration for me to take the jump. Now this is a very big statement, right? This made my day. कि अगर कोई fellow colleague observe this, उसने भी अपना life, and he and his wife both did it. Okay, this is the biggest happiness you can get when clients come back to you and say, sir, आपका वो जो story था ना, it inspired me and I've done this today. इससे बड़ा example आपको IIP में नहीं मिल सकता है. Okay, then again I like to show through these pictures that how I live my life. Okay, and this has nothing to do with money. I always tell money का lessons तो मैं आपको बाद में सिखाऊंगा. As an advisor, can I help you live a good quality life? Okay, तो मैं बताता हूँ कि this is how I live my life. This is my house and this is my office. 5 minutes walk. I tell a lot of my clients, forget आपको SIP करना है, wealth बनाना है. पहले, are you living your life, in with whatever resources you have, in a very powerful way. So by showing these, I've tried to inspire many of my clients to kind of come closer to the workplace, to avoid traffic. Okay, I show my dream कि एक दिन मेरे को यहाँ पे इस बिल्डिंग में घर लेना है, इस बिल्डिंग में ऑफिस लेना है, because I just wanted 2 minutes walk and I want my office to have this view. Again दोस्तों मैं एक बात बताना चाहता हूँ, ये सब दिखाने के बाद मैंने हजारों लोगों का मैंने देखा, they've changed their offices, IFAs have changed their offices. I've seen a lot of people, lot of even multi-millionaires in Calcutta. Brijesh, I'm sure you would agree, there are a lot of multi-millionaires who are sitting out of a 4x5 office, okay, right, with no ventilation, with no air, no fresh air. Then when I go into their offices, I say, sir, आप ये क्या life जी रहे हो? You know, this is not life worth living. You don't have fresh air, you don't have good view, and you're sitting for 12 hours a day in this artificial light. How will you are not going to live longer? And अगर आप लंबा नहीं जियोगे तो compounding कहाँ से होगा? How will you be able to enjoy this wealth? By just sharing this statement, you know, you have helped people, lot of people change offices, right? उन्होंने बोला कि आपका सुनने के बाद मैंने भी अपना ऑफिस यहाँ था, मैंने ये चेंज करके I've got this bigger, larger, spacious office, and I think this is a good investment. और उसके कारण अगर SIP बंद हो रही है तो होने दो, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, because you know, one good thing that you've told through your talk, if that has made a big impact, this guy will automatically come back to you, right? So this is what I tell them. Then this was in the IIP. Then how do you convince clients in the meetings also? How do you conduct very powerful client meets? So first thing I always believe is any meeting that you go, any client meeting, make sure you're on time, right? इसका बहुत बड़ा advantage है, you know, because you're going for the first time to your client. The client doesn't know you. First impression is the last impression. If you are in your good clothes, you're on time. In fact, you're 5 minutes early. That makes a big statement, right? That shows how much you value your time, and client will also realize it. Know your prospect well. Do some homework for your client. अगर किसी डॉक्टर के पास जा रहे हो तो try to do a lot of research on his practice. क्या करता है through social media, whatever, right? And you know, in the first meeting, when you talk a lot about your client, that ice breaking happens. You don't have to go and talk about yourself. Try to listen to a lot of things that the client has to share. हर client अपनी success story की बताने की बात करेगा. Okay, if you know few good things about the client, talk about those good things in the first meeting. Sir, I've done a little bit of research. Your company has won the best award in this, for that. अगर आप अच्छी चीजें बताओगे clients के बारे में, client को लगेगा कि यार this guy has done good homework, you know, for me. मेरे बारे में बहुत कुछ पता किया है, and he will give time to you, he'll listen to you, and then whatever you say, he will most likely believe, you know, in those things, because you've done a lot of homework. Explain things in a very simple format. मैं हर चीज एकदम simple तरीके से बताने की कोशिश करता हूँ, right? Because the more simple you believe in, the, you know, if the client is able to understand it very well, then he'll have more confidence, and then he'll invest more. Okay, this is one thing which I would strongly recommend to all of you. Have a detailed presentation with you at all times. Okay, मैंने लास्ट 15 साल में जितना भी मेरे लाइफ के लेसन से I've tried to make it in the form of presentation. जो भी मुझे अच्छी चीज लगती है, keep it, because seeing is believing. अगर आप क्लाइंट को चीज दिखाते हो तो वो ट्रस्ट करता है. If you tell in हवा कि सर PPF अच्छा नहीं है, PPF से, you know, if you would have put in XYZ mutual fund, वो 100x बन गया. If you're not showing, it won't register in their mind. If you show this thing, so you should have around 100, 200, 300 slides with you. जो भी client ने question पूछा, you are able to pull out that slide and show it. It should become muscle memory for you. Carry your presentation at all times on your mobile, on your laptop, iPad. आप plane में बैठे हो, you're sitting next to a gentleman in plane or train. The mutual fund topic has come. If he has some questions, sometimes client में से, यार ये mutual funds खराब चीज है, कुछ नहीं होता है, मैंने 2 साल पहले डाला, negative returns. You can immediately open up your own thing and show it. Sir, आप जो बोल रहे हो right नहीं है. This is what it is. And when he sees data and when he sees real stuff, okay, he will believe you. I always say facts tell, stories sell. Facts से आप बता सकते हो, but if you have to make a lasting impression, stories are the best way. For everything you have a story, you should have a story. Play games with clients to make them understand the concept better. You know, I remember IDFC Mutual Fund has a lot of games, a lot of simple stuff. I'm not sure how many of things you have used. I have a lot of these games in my office. जब कोई clients आता है, I play these small things with them to show the power of good advisory, to show them in a very different way, you know, different concepts, right? So a lot of these AMCs have come out with tools. Try to use it in your conversations, right? Always involve the entire family when you are having discussion. This is very, very powerful. I always insist, if it is a new client meeting, I tell my investors, please bring your spouse. if you have adult children, your children are above 15 years of age, please bring them to my office, or when I go to their house, I make sure the entire family sitting, their parents are sitting, because आप जो समझाने वाले हो वो वैसे भी बहुत easy है, simple है, everybody will be able to understand. And imagine when the whole family is involved, the chances are that the client will definitely work with you, because sometimes even if he's not very convinced, if his wife is very convinced, his parents are convinced, they would say, it seems that this person is a nice person, let's try him out, right? So involve the entire family. And एक और फायदा है entire family का, see many times क्या होता है दोस्तों, the wife also have some surplus money which she doesn't share with her husband. The parents have their own corpus also, which sometimes they don't discuss with the children. And when you involve the entire family, we have seen many times the parents will call you independently sometimes, I have this another 5 lakh, which is lying in the bank account. Why don't you put this into SWP or whatever, so that I can get a monthly income? Because you've involved the entire family, you don't have one client in the family, you get 4 different clients from the same family, right? Make great use of audio visuals, which is what I do in all my, I have around 10-15 different videos, okay? Right from mis-selling se leke alag cheez, which I show in my IIPs and my customer meets. And आपका meeting इतना powerful होना चाहिए कि that first meeting itself, the client is convinced, though we don't try to push anything, but client हमेशा मतलब ऐसा होना चाहिए कि you are in some way you are onboarding the client in the first meeting in some form or other. You can tell, sir, आप why don't we just start with a liquid fund, 5,000 rupees, try it out. And एक बार वो आपका client बन गया, right? Then he will listen to you next time. He will call you for meeting because he is already your client. You don't have to. It's no longer a cold call. It's no longer a prospect. And my last point is that you need to sell yourself before you sell products. The client doesn't buy products from you, the client buys you. Okay, only when the client is convinced with your story and realize that you are a very genuine guy, you're able to tell everything, then he first buys you, and then whatever products you will tell, he will definitely buy it, right? And finally, I always believe in this, that the messenger is the message. As Nick Murray says, that your story has to be the message that you want to share with the larger world, right? That is my one idiot story. My dream is there one day to get this Rolls-Royce car in 3-4 years time, to show the world कि मैंने करके दिखाया. My dream is to ship to those offices where you have a sea view, right? To show the world कि आपने करके दिखाया है. Okay, I don't necessarily want to own it, but I want to live the best quality of life. By living this great quality of life, you want to show your clients, inspire your clients that you have done it, right? And जब आप करके दिखाते हो ना, तो इसका impact 10 गुना ज़्यादा होता है जो आप बोलते हो. Remember we tell our children don't do what we tell them to do. They do when they observe us that what we are doing, right? So seeing is believing, doing is everything. This is how I try to use these stories in this thing. And again, by doing this, you are constantly reminding yourself time and again, because you are telling the whole world, you have no choice but to live these stories, right? That's how it happens. So with this, I would like to kind of conclude. 40 minutes was the allotted time to me, Brijesh. In a brief nutshell, I wanted to show that how I drive my conversations. With this, I've seen 80% of the time, we have closed the business easily without even pushing. We don't chase afterwards the meeting. We don't kind of really do a lot of follow-ups. क्योंकि हम बिलीव करते हैं कि अगर हमने अच्छा चीज बता दिया है, जो समझदार है वो 1 महीने बाद, 1 दिन बाद, 1 साल बाद जरूर वापस आपके पास आएगा. And we have seen this happening all the times. Okay, so through this, your clients become your brand ambassadors. They go and tell your stories to others. Okay, and when imagine the next time a new client comes to you and he has come through referral, half of the battle is won because he has come through somebody's referral. The other half is to just listen this story from your mouth and be enchanted by it. So open for any Q&A, suggestions, feedback, friends.
I think we should continue. We don't have any questions. So friends, I sat through the entire presentation, heard word by word, and I am having goosebumps. There are 400 people right now, approximately, and I want all of you, if you feel the same goosebump, please write goosebump in the chat box to let Gajendra know how impactful this presentation was. Goosebump. And I can't tell you, Gajendra, that since I have known you, so it is easy for me to know this, that what you have said is every word is correct and is very motivating, very encouraging. And मेरा message म्यूचुअल फंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर को ये है, कोई अच्छा इंसान मिल जाए, गुरु मिल जाए, दोस्त मिल जाए, तो उसको पकड़ के रखना, गजेंद्र कोठारी को पकड़ के रखना, कहीं कुछ बोलता है तो उसकी बात को सुनना, हर वीडियो देखना, जिस भी सेमिनार में जाए वहां की टिकट जरूर कटाना, बिकॉज अच्छे लोग की अच्छी बातें हर समय मिलती नहीं है, और रोज रोज चीजों को बदलना नहीं चाहिए। कई बार होता है ना कि हम छोटी मोटी चीजों के लिए वेंडर चेंज कर लेते हैं, सिस्टम चेंज कर लेते हैं। एग्जिस्टिंग जो अच्छे लोग हैं उनका साथ नहीं छोड़ना चाहिए, बिकॉज हो सकता है ये इक्विटी अच्छे लोग इक्विटी फंड्स की तरह होते हैं, 3 साल नहीं चलते, चौथे साल में एक बार में 100% रिटर्न दे देते हैं, तो पकड़ के रखना चाहिए। गजेंद्र वैसा इंसान है, और मुझे याद है 3-4 साल पहले जब मैं गजेंद्र के ऑफिस गया था, मैं काफी बार मिला हूँ, ऑफिस भी गया हूँ, तो एक बार उन्होंने अपने स्कूटर से अपने घर के बगल, उनका घर बगल में, स्कूटर से मुझे उन्होंने लिफ्ट देकर के अपने घर बुलाया, और घर में खिचड़ी खाई हमने उनके साथ में, और वो दिन दूर नहीं है, और जब मैं रोल्स रॉयस में उसके घर जाऊंगा, और सो हम्बल। और आप ये सोचो कि 18 लाख रुपया महीने की एसआईपी करने वाला बंदा आज भी गाड़ी नहीं रखता, स्कूटर पे ट्रैवल करता है, अपना घर नहीं है। This is the power of discipline. This is the power of compounding. So I will leave it on to the audience to ask any question. Gajendra, you can take a few questions. We will have 5-7 minutes, and we will close this. We start on time, close on time, and the message was loud and clear, and it was fantastic session. And I will request Gajendra that you should do some investor awareness program for a master stroke for mutual fund distributor who will bring their investors to learn from you, and then it will be easy for them to convert those prospects and to get more SIPs and more business from their existing clients. So are you ready, guys? Friends, if you want Gajendra Kothari to do investor awareness program, this is the time to request Gajendra, please come on Master Store to do IIPs. We do every 2 weeks on Sunday, 11 a.m. I will talk to Gajendra about this. Yes. Just see, Gajendra, how much people are eager to have you. Now you can take a few questions, Gajendra, if you want.
Sure. I think the first question has come from Dinesh Kumarji. He says, throw some light on how do you do portfolio review when you meet existing client. तो मैं इसमें just एक slide दिखाना चाहता हूँ वापस कि usually when I do these reviews, I don't try to discuss lot on funds, lot on performance. I always believe कि performance market देता है, और अगर आप long term में बैठे रहोगे तो आपका performance अपना पा जाएगा. So I try to show this example, and मैंने शायद ब्रिजेश आपको पहले वाले उसमें सेशन में भी दिखाया है. Just एक slide देखो आप. I think this would speak volume. This is my live portfolio, okay? And this was on March 24, 2020. I tell my clients कि look at my patience, okay? ये आप अगर चौथा नंबर फंड देखो, IDFC इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर फंड, मैंने 11 साल पहले दोनों फंड में 3-3 लाख रुपए लगाए थे, और अगर ब्रिजेश मैं आपसे पूछूं 10 साल बाद अगर आपका फंड जीरो नेगेटिव रिटर्न है 10 साल बाद, ब्रिजेश आपने तो बहुत टाइम दिया मेरे से, कैन यू रियली टेल एनीबॉडी हु यू हैव सीन कि जिसने 10 साल पैसा रखा और निकाला नहीं है माइनस रिटर्न होने के बाद?
नो, बहुत मुश्किल.
I met a lot of fund managers also. जो ये फंड के मैनेजर भी है ना, वो खुद भी अपना पैसा निकालेंगे thinking कि this is not working. But one thing I've learned this कि if you stay for long enough time, okay, ये 10 साल का रिटर्न -1% है, and उसके एक साल के बाद अगर आप सीन देखो तो this is 10.85% return, okay, 11-year 12-year CAGR. You can see the number of days, right? So what I try to tell through this story is कि equity will beat hands down in the long term debt. मतलब पहला लेसन है. इसीलिए मैं सारा पैसा इक्विटी में डालता हूँ अगर मुझे 10 साल का पैसा डालना है, क्योंकि मेरा सबसे खराब इन्वेस्टमेंट भी मुझे 11% रिटर्न दे रहा है, which no FD would have given. This is one thing which I want to show. Second thing which I want to show, Brijesh, through again when I do portfolio reviews and when clients ask me कि ये फंड अच्छा नहीं है, वो फंड खराब है, लास्ट वाला फंड आप मेरा देखो, SBI मैग्ना मिड कैप फंड, आप ये मैं 4 साल से SIP कर रहा था 2016 में, कोविड में, आफ्टर 4 years, if your SIP is giving you -19% return, -19, okay, I can tell you 99% of us will stop their SIPs, will move the funds, okay. And by the way, guys, I want to tell you one more thing, and this will be shocker to you. This was the worst performing fund on March 24-20. अगर 28 मिड कैप फंड थे तो ये 28वां रैंक था SBI मैग्ना मिड कैप फंड. आप रिकॉर्ड्स जाके निकाल सकते हैं. मैंने बोला कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, लॉन्ग टर्म में द रिजल्ट्स विल बी वेरी सिमिलर. मैंने वेट किया, ब्रिजेश, इन अ मैटर ऑफ 18 months. नाउ लुक एट दैट कॉन्ट्रास्ट. that 5 lakh became 21 lakh 97,000. And my minus 2 lakh became plus 10 lakh profit and 30% CAGR for 5-year period from minus 19.
This is extraordinary. You mean to say you got 27% CAGR return on this portfolio?
Yes, ये आपके सामने है sir.
Unbelievable.
ये आपके सामने है.
Unbelievable.
So,
from minus 6 to 27% CAGR over 814 days of average investment, which is actually 6 years, 7 years. Or even more see, because your SIPs are growing.
And you see average number of days which have been doing 2,400 days, 2,059 days, 2,058 days. ये मैं examples जो दिखाता हूँ कि because I focus on average days, ये CAGR is automatically taken care of, and my worst performing fund for a long term is 10.85%. मैं अच्छी की तो बात ही नहीं करता सर, ये अच्छा क्या है, right? So what I'm trying to share with you from this presentation, and this is how I tell that how the game of 100 crores is played. Today, the portfolio value is 22. In 3 years, if you do nothing at 15%, 22 becomes 33, 33 becomes 66, and the SIPs that you're going to do will become another 40 crores. अब किसी भी client
unbelievable.
बहुत easy है, तुम जो दिखा रहे हो तो बहुत it sounds so simple now.
Gajendra, I want to tell mutual fund distributor, लोग 100 करोड़ का यूं बनाना चाहते हैं, यहाँ वन इडियट अपना 100 करोड़ का पोर्टफोलियो बना रहा है म्यूचुअल फंड बेच के. इससे बड़ा मोटिवेशन क्लाइंट के लिए, और जब एक डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर का 100 करोड़ का पोर्टफोलियो बनेगा तो उसके क्लाइंट का 10,000 करोड़ का पोर्टफोलियो बन जाएगा, उनके 10,000 करोड़ की वेल्थ बनेगी, तो दोनों विन विन सिचुएशन में है.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
Brilliant.
So I show this very powerful slide again. I got this. Why most people don't create wealth? Because 51% of direct plan investors close their SIP in less than 1 year. Another 25% close their investments in less than 2 years. And the number of investors who continue the investments after 5 years are only 2.5% in the world. Only 2.5% in India. और जो 10 साल के ऊपर रखते हैं वो सिर्फ 1% है. And that is why it's a no-brainer कि only 1% people in the world creates wealth. वो चुपचाप बैठे रहते हैं, good, bad, ugly, doesn't matter. और मेरा एक client था ब्रिजेश, and I tell my investors, when you show these things, कि 6 साल कुछ पैसा नहीं बनेगा आपका, कुछ भी पैसा नहीं बनेगा, don't expect any miracles. So you are showing your vulnerability, because other जो बैंक रिलेशनशिप मैनेजर जाएंगे, सर 3 साल में देखो ये रिटर्न है, वो रिटर्न है, they all sell good stories, and when जब client reviews में जब ये नहीं दिखता है, they have to do a lot of hard, they have hard times, right? But when you show कि 10 साल बाद भी आपका नेगेटिव हो सकता है, तो and if you just stay put, this is how your compounding becomes.
Unbelievable.
So what I'm trying to tell friends कि आपकी stories में भी, if you've been doing your SIP for 10 years, you have seen a lot of such examples. And एक चीज और मैं बताता हूँ, this is the observations from my portfolio which I tell my investors that my favorite holding period is forever. It is a very boring game. हम लोग churn नहीं करते हैं, हम लोग 90% of the time we don't do any actions on our portfolio. So अगर आप हमारे पास आ रहे हो तो आप सोच समझ के आना कि हम क्या करते हैं, right? Some funds will perform, some won't, right? But in the long term, the performance is very much similar. Prashant Jain, Shankar Narain, Anup Bhaskar, सब एक हैं. They are all very similar in 10 years, right? आधा 1% ऊपर नीचे होता है, आप चुपचाप उनको पकड़े रहो. इनफैक्ट जब उनका खराब टाइम आता तो और डबल अप करो उनमें. सो एक मैं क्लासिक एग्जांपल बता रहा हूँ ब्रिजेश. 5-4 साल पहले मैं मेरे क्लाइंट के पास गया था, उसने मुझे एक फंड के बारे में बोला, निपॉन इंडिया मल्टी कैप, आई कैन टेक नेम हियर. 3 साल का परफॉर्मेंस बहुत खराब था. क्लाइंट बोला गजेंद्र मजा नहीं आ रहा है, इसमें से निकाल दो. मैंने उसको बहुत समझाने की कोशिश की कि सर पैसा मत निकालो, शॉर्ट टर्म अंडर परफॉर्मेंस है, कुछ नहीं होगा. तो क्लाइंट बोलता है नहीं बहुत हो गया, निकाल दो. तो यू डोंट हैव अ चॉइस. जब आपने 3-4 बार बोल दिया, क्लाइंट इज नॉट लिसनिंग. मैंने बोला सर ठीक है, मैं आपके पोर्टफोलियो से निकाल रहा हूँ, बट आई एम नॉट टचिंग दिस फंड इन माय पोर्टफोलियो. और मैंने बोल के छोड़ दिया. 3 साल बाद जब मैं अभी उससे 3 महीना पहले मिला था, तो उसने बात में पूछा, गजेंद्र यू रिमेंबर I wanted to exit from that fund and you didn't wanted me to exit. Are you continuing in that fund? तुरंत मैंने अपना पोर्टफोलियो खोल के दिखाया और वो फंड दिखाया, उसका CAGR 21% था लास्ट 7 इयर्स का. उसके बाद उस क्लाइंट ने हाथ जोड़ लिया, बोला कि आगे से मैं कभी भी फंड लेवल पे तुमसे बात नहीं करूंगा. I will go by what you say and I trust you. Okay, and this guy today has 8 crore portfolio with us, Brijesh. Okay.
Brilliant.
So what I'm trying to tell you is that you have to be convinced yourself first, and if you're convinced with the idea, then back it up with truckload, right? Why I'm putting all my money here? Because 19 years of experience tells me that this is the best thing on earth, right? और गेम तो अब चालू हुआ है 12 साल बाद. अब 12 साल तो जो थी ये मेहनत थी, अब ये मेहनत का रंग आएगा जब 20 का 40 होगा, 40 का 80 होगा.
Correct.
This is how you try and tell stories, real stories, and then after this I can tell you there are no questions at all actually. उसके बाद भी अगर कोई client नहीं समझाना तो I don't think there is any better way to explain to the client.
Correct.
और एक छोटा सा मैं और portfolio दिखाता हूँ. I think this will open up eyes for many people. Guys, this is a real portfolio. Okay, this is a real portfolio which I'm showing to you. Okay, this guy came to us. Now look at this portfolio. It's an amazing story. This guy just retired from his government job. उसको कुछ भी पता नहीं कि इक्विटी म्यूचुअल फंड्स क्या होता है. ये पोर्टफोलियो उसके पास बहुत लोगों ने उसको बेचा था और वो 15 साल से सब म्यूचुअल फंड्स में डालते गया. उसके पास आप म्यूचुअल फंड देखोगे तो 100 से ऊपर म्यूचुअल फंड्स है ब्रिजेश, मोर देन 100. ही केम टू अस एंड ही शोड अस दिस पोर्टफोलियो, राइट. ऐसा कोई भी फंड आदित्य बिरला का नहीं है कि जो उसके पास नहीं है, डीएसपी का कोई फंड नहीं है, फ्रैंकलिन का कोई नहीं है, एचडीएफसी का कोई नहीं है कि जो उसके पास नहीं है. बट लुक एट द स्टोरी. In almost all the funds, he has been sitting there for 4,500 days, which is almost like 14-15 years, right? And look at the CAGR that he has made on this portfolio, 10, 12, 13, 12 सब पे. और मैं नीचे जाता रहूं, 4,000 दिन 15%, 14, and if I go down below, that 1 crore 34 lakh what he invested has become 3 crore 13 lakhs rupees, and the CAGR for last 14 years is 14%. तो मैंने क्लाइंट को बोला सर आपको मेरे पास आने की जरूरत ही नहीं है, आप तो ये खुद कर ही रहे हो, एंड इट डजंट मैटर. वो क्लाइंट, मैंने बोला सिर्फ आपके एक ही चीज है, आपने 100 फंड्स लेके रखे हैं, दैट इज द ओनली थिंग दैट यू हैव टू कंसोलिडेट, अदरवाइज यू हैव डन ब्रिलियंट जॉब व्हिच एंड यू आर बीटिंग 99% ऑफ द इन्वेस्टर्स ऑन अर्थ.
करेक्ट.
तो ये जब मैं रियल पोर्टफोलियो दूसरों को दिखाता हूं तो बाकी लोग भी इंस्पायर्ड हो जाते हैं कि दिस गेम इज ऑल अबाउट कंपाउंडिंग, दिस गेम इज ऑल अबाउट डिसिप्लिन एंड पेशेंस. इफ यू फोकस ऑन एवरेज डेज, ये CAGR विल टेकन केयर ऑफ ऑटोमेटिकली.
करेक्ट.
So through my investor meets, I try to show such unique portfolio examples, right, of different clients in their journeys. और जब ये real दिखाते हैं ना तो लोगों को समझ. Factual returns doesn't help. These returns,
Correct.
conviction to the client.
Power of story.
Yes.
Story. I think a lot of distributors are very busy in the field and they don't have time. And I keep telling them. मैं उनको बोलता हूँ, दो चीजें बताना चाहूंगा. पहला मैं उनको बोलता हूँ कि आप मतलब मास्टर स्ट्रोक के भी एक फीचर यूज करते हैं. मैं उनको बोलता हूँ आप रोज 1 घंटा मास्टर स्ट्रोक यूज करेंगे ना तो आपका 3 घंटा बचेगा, बट उनके पास वो 1 घंटा नहीं. उसी तरह से मैं ये बताना चाहता हूँ कि आप एक अच्छा प्रेजेंटेशन बनाएंगे ना 4 दिन लगा के, तो आपके 400 दिन का एफर्ट कम हो जाएगा, बट उतना टाइम नहीं है आपके पास. आप वो टाइम दो अपनी क्वालिटी को इंप्रूव करने के लिए. सिर्फ दौड़ने से, सिर्फ केवाईसी करने से, सिर्फ क्लरिकल वर्क करने से कुछ नहीं होने वाला. यू हैव टू स्पेंड टाइम इनटू क्वालिटी. आज गजेंद्र के इस प्रोग्राम से आपने 10 चीज सीखी, उसको इंप्लीमेंट करेंगे तो ही फायदा है. अदरवाइज कल सब अपने अपने बिजनेस में चले जाएंगे, समय नहीं मिलेगा, फिर 10 बजे से 8 बजे तक आप बिजी रहेंगे. बट यू हैव टू नो वेयर यू हैव टू स्पेंड योर टाइम. क्रिएट सच काइंड ऑफ वंडरफुल प्रेजेंटेशन, नीट प्रेजेंटेशन. कितना सुंदर तरीके से एक्सप्लेनेशन दिया गजेंद्र. सो यू हैव टू स्पेंड टाइम वेयर यू कैन शार्पन द शॉ. आप अपनी क्वालिटी को इंप्रूव कर सकते हैं. सो वंडरफुल प्रेजेंटेशन. मुझे मालूम नहीं अगर मैं कितने क्वेश्चंस ले पाऊंगा. मैं क्वेश्चंस अब नहीं लेना चाहता हूं गजेंद्र. आई विल लीव इट ऑन टू यू, व्हाटएवर यू वांट टू आंसर, बिकॉज़ पीपल लव your talk, but we will have to finish in the next 2-3 minutes because that is the time limit that we have.
Yeah, no, the only thing which I would like to again use this, friends, Masterstroke has created a brilliant platform. आपके पास I think Brijesh has more than 100 slides which उनकी टीम ने इतनी मेहनत करके अपने लिए बनाए हैं, और white labeled है, right? But वो तो आप use करो, that should be the first step, but that should not be the only thing. See, अगर सब लोग same बोलेंगे ना तो फिर client क्या लगेगा, आपने तो कुछ किया ही नहीं है, right? You have to use your own brains and make it live, as much live as possible, and make it your story. आप अपने चिल्ड्रन का एग्जांपल, अपने वाइफ का एग्जांपल, अपने जो फैमिली रिटायरमेंट का आपने जो किया वो दिखाओ क्लाइंट्स को कि सर देखो मैं भी इतने साल से कर रहा हूँ, इतना पढ़ा हूँ. उसके बाद आपको कुछ समझाने की जरूरत नहीं है. And this one thing can take you, your AUM to next level altogether. And I can tell you there will be no competition to you at all whatsoever.
Absolutely yes, absolutely yes.
और बहुत लोग जो ब्रिजेश बोलते हैं कि शेयर द प्रेजेंटेशन, दिस डजंट हेल्प. अगर आप खाली बैठे बैठे किसी का लोगे ना तो आप उसमें मेहनत नहीं करोगे तो वो इट डजंट हेल्प यू.
वो यूज भी नहीं आएगा गजेंद्र. मतलब आप उस प्रेजेंटेशन को दूसरे को दिखा करके आप अपनी स्टोरी नहीं बता सकते. मेहनत तो आपको खुद करनी पड़ेगी. एनी विच वे recording will be available on YouTube for all of you to watch this again and again, to be inspired, to make your own creative, because content से आपको इंस्पिरेशन मिल सकता है, लेकिन कॉपी करने से आपको मजा नहीं आएगा। आपको उसके थॉट को लेकर के अपनी ही प्रेजेंटेशन बनानी पड़ेगी। तो जब क्लाइंट के सामने आप अपनी एक्सप्लेनेशन देंगे तो वो नेचुरल होगा।
एंड
So
फाइनली
it's
एक ही बात
ideas.
दोस्तों, एक ही बात बोलना चाहता हूँ, जस्ट वन थिंग। इस वर्ल्ड में द ओनली वे यू कैन, आप बोलोगे आप सक्सेसफुल होगे, आपका पोर्टफोलियो बोलेगा ना, तो आपकी अपनी मार्केटिंग हो जाएगी, आपको बोलने की फिर जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी। आज वॉरेन बफेट को सुनने 50,000 लोग स्टेडियम में जाते हैं, उन्होंने करके दिखाया है, राइट? हम लोग वेल्थ मैनेजर से हम लोग लोगों को सपना दिखाते हैं कि हम आपका वेल्थ बनाएंगे, बट अगर आपने सही तरीके से आपका वेल्थ नहीं बनाया है इन द सेम वे, देन यू हैव टोल्ड द बिगेस्ट लाई ऑन अर्थ। यू नो, आपको क्लाइंट्स का वेल्थ तो बनाना ही है, क्लाइंट्स का वेल्थ के साथ अपना बनाना है, और वो एग्जांपल्स को लेके आपको हजारों लोगों के पास जाना है कि देखो एक सिंपल आइडिया थी, इसको मैंने सीरियसली लिया, एंड टुडे लुक एट द पावर ऑफ दिस आइडिया।
Correct. Absolutely correct. I can't agree more with you on this. So we'll stop the recording here. Thank you so much, Gajendra, for being on the show. We are delighted. We were absolutely so. It was a fantastic session. You know, अभी भी goosebump हो रहे हैं. इतने सारे एग्जाम्पल आपने अदिति के बारे में जो बताया, 3 करोड़ के पोर्टफोलियो के बारे में बताया, अपने इन्वेस्टमेंट्स के बारे में बताया, and for once 27% का CAGR return in 2021 October on SIP portfolios of 10, 12, 13 years. I mean, unbelievable. Unbelievable. So everything is enlightening, and I think this session went off very well for mutual fund distributors. 400 लोग से ज्यादा लाइव थे, 200 लोग आकर के पहले कम बेसी में, मतलब 600 लोगों ने टोटल आज आपके प्रोग्राम को सुना। 1000 लोग YouTube पे आकर के आपको वापस से इसको देख करके इंस्पायर होंगे। You are creating many more one idiots in your own way.
थैंक यू ब्रजेश, थैंक यू सो मच।